And we are live. Hello, I'm Mark Nugent with Greg Raths from Mission Viejo City Council. Hello, Greg. How are you doing?
Doing good, Mark. Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure to talk with you and your audience.
Oh, thank you for doing this and being so open when it's frustrating when others electeds don't. So just thank you for being. So I'm not going to mention any names. I'm just no politics today. I just this
Right.
we're titling this as people know that you're on city council, and we wanted to talk about the current situation and what's going on in the county. We know what's going on at the schools, and going to get your opinion on it as a former mayor and current councilman from Mission Viejo.
Yeah, we're working hard. Our current mayor for 2020 is Brian Goodell. He was elected a couple years ago. He was a Olympic champion, two gold medals in the 76 Olympics in swimming. I believe the 500 and 1500 meter. And he was actually going to Mission Viejo High School at the time. So he's just very young, 17, 18-year-old. But he's doing a great job with the city over this crisis, and a lot of things are happening here in Mission Viejo as throughout the county, and our
Okay.
senior center, the Murray Center, it's called. We had to close that. We didn't want the seniors, getting exposed to the virus, and we opened a web page on our web page. It's called cityofmissionviejo.org/COVID-19,
You said
COVID
that's on your
19.
that's the City Mission Viejo website.
City of Mission Viejo, yeah,
Okay.
cityofmissionviejo.org
I have
slash.
that. I have it up. Sorry to cut you off. I have it up now. So
Okay,
we're looking at citymissionviejo.org right now.
right. So there it kind of gives all our constituents a central place to go to figure out what's closed, what's not. Some of our, obviously, our swimming pools, things are starting to shut down. The library, some of our workers that are 65 plus are asked to stay home. They don't want to get infected. So
Okay.
it's been a challenge for the mayor and for the council, but that's our job as
Okay. Okay.
council members, is to lead the city, and when times are good and also in times of crisis. So,
Yeah. You know, having been a veteran myself, I know that we've dealt with so many emergencies like this on a daily basis for years. Um, so you're seeing this unfold now. So I'm just curious, how does this compare to the emergencies that you would deal with when we were in the military or 30 years of service compared to now? How does it compare? And what's your stress level? How do you feel about everything?
well, what makes this a little different than, say, 9/11? 9/11 was just a blast. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just a shock, and everyone just immediately came together to help the New Yorkers and those at the Pentagon, and the country just came together just immediately, because I remember all the members of the House and the Senate came down the stairs at the Capitol, and they sang "God Bless America," and all politics was put away for quite a long time, and then obviously things kind of get back to where they were. This coronavirus has been slow to accelerate to the point where it has this week. So there's been too much politics in it right now. The press has not come around to the point where they're 100%, let's join this country together. There's still some bickering back and forth politically, some governors arguing with the president, but it's time now. Which you saw, the financial markets are really being affected, which is affecting everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people in the country with their 401ks or retirement plans. So it's time to come together as a country. And I believe our president and our congressional leaders are at a point now where the finger pointing is going to stop. There'll be time for that later, but right now, this is serious. I've been so busy on the campaign trail during my congressional run, that for me, I'm 66, so they asked me to stay home. So my wife and I are home, and we're abiding by the rules to stay away from people that could infect us. Because at our age, we got to be careful.
Yep.
Um, I do drive around my truck just to see what's going on. Today, I drove around looking for any yard signs that need to be picked up.
Okay,
But
well,
I'm
appreciate that.
staying away from, yeah, so I'm staying away from people.
Yeah, I
So
noticed
just
some of the people that didn't win. So there's still signs are still laying around as trash.
actually, I've been picking theirs up too while I'm picking mine up. So,
Yeah, I went for
but it's a difficult time, and I think everyone's starting to get it now, and I think we're going to work as a team. We're going to put all politics aside. Um, Democrats, Republicans, everybody hopefully will come together, and because it's scary. It's not like you can see this virus. It's it's something that is there, but do I have it? So you start second guessing yourself if you cough or sneeze. Maybe I have it. You're washing your hands. You're doing everything they tell you to do, but government can only do so much. They can put together some structure, but we have to come together as a country and as citizens and lick this thing because we've done it before and we'll do it again.
yeah.
So I want
So
everyone just to stay calm. Like
I
you said, don't panic.
yeah yeah. The title is "Don't Panic" number 4. Because when I started this, I had set the home studio up, and I was like, okay, I just might as well live stream, and I just labeled "Don't Panic," and because people are, and I feel unusually guilty because our families we're so prepared. So I'm really just I hope other people are okay. Um, Now, I have a couple questions. What school district is in Mission Viejo?
We have two school districts, Capistrano Unified School
Okay.
District and Saddleback, and they're both making plans. I don't know exact because I was not informed on those two school districts if
Okay.
they in fact have ceased operations. I do know that in Irvine, where my daughters teach, I have twin daughters
Yeah.
that teach in the Irvine Unified School District, and all the students were sent home, and
Yeah.
they're now going to online classes for at
Yeah.
least, I believe it's 30 days. So the
Yeah.
teachers will be teaching online.
Yeah. I'm looking at the Mission and Saddleback School District. It says, in response to the coronavirus and abundance of caution, all Saddleback Valley Unified Schools be closed beginning Monday, March
Okay.
16th through March 27th. They'll be then Irvine is also closed until April 6th. It's on their webpage as well.
Right.
My kids
And
go
check
to,
Capistrano, if you
yeah.
can check that
Then
too. I believe the same thing.
my kids go to Irvine Unified. So,
Yeah, the teachers are being taught today and tomorrow. I know in Irvine, where my daughters are, how to do online classes and how to give tests or whatever. So the millennial group, my daughters plus, are pretty keen at it. But there's some of the more senior teachers are going to need a little extra help on how to handle online teaching because they don't know that much about it.
yeah. And my family, we're having to transition as well. And, my wife, she works in the hospital in the operating room, and they have C-stall elective surgeries to
Yes, I
prepare
heard
for,
that.
to prepare for an influx of patients as well. You were watching when we had Dr. Ken Williams on, and he was
Yeah.
telling us from a medical point of view what's to expect. It keeps going through my mind. Is it a matter of when or if,
Well, there's a lot of people out there that have this virus, I'm sure, but they haven't been tested or they've been through the process and they never probably even knew they had it.
Yeah, the current
So I think once more testing comes out, you're going to find out a lot more people had it than we thought.
Yeah, the current numbers right now. I'm gonna refresh the screen real quick. It is confirmed cases 182,185, total deaths 7,148, and recovered 79,418 people are known to be recovered from this. So we will
Yes.
get through it.
Yeah, it seems the youngsters are going to be fine. It seems to be the elderly who have some underlying issue health wise where this complicates their current problem and then they can't recover with a respiratory problem. So everybody's learning a lot about it and talk about panic buying. What was it, Saturday? I needed some ink for my printer, so I was going to run by Costco just to grab a couple ink cartridges. And oh my God, there's a line all the way around the store. So I just went to Office Max.
Okay.
But people need to calm down. There's going to be plenty of food. The
Yeah,
country's doing well, and just we'll get through it. But it's a shock to the whole system
I
because
think so.
restaurants are being closed and
I don't know. I think after being
LA
20
Fitness, a lot of these other places. Go
after
ahead.
being 20 years in the army and you were 30 years Marines, this is like not for us. I'm just kind of like, okay, this is just seems like another, barracks lockdown. Someone lost a weapon. We're just, it's. I mean, for us, it's a lot different. We have to take a step back. That we went through hell and back. They didn't, and
Well, I was based in Bahrain during Desert Storm,
yeah,
and Scuds were coming into our base. And every time we got the air alert, you had to put on a gas mask and your gloves and your whole suit. You'd be in the middle of the night and you jump out of bed, put on your mask, and then you wait for the all clear.
yeah,
So we've been through it, as you said, and I was on an aircraft carrier and inbound people coming in. You go to general quarters, but it's we're trained that way as
yeah,
military men. We're trained to handle
and
these problems.
my assumption,
So
yeah, sorry,
go ahead.
no, my assumption for you, 30 years Marine Corps, you have to be super healthy to have gotten through that. That's
Yeah,
one. I mean, I may not be rich, but one thing I'm blessed on is good health, and for you as well, I'm sure you're gonna be fine.
yeah, I'm in good health, and I'm not rich either.
Why? No amount of money can buy you health. So
Yeah, I just asked the King of Jordan when he had
yeah,
cancer. He came to the United States. Where's the best treatment for cancer? And he
okay,
obviously died, but he was a king, so it doesn't matter how
okay,
rich you are. But if you have your health, that's what counts. So
yeah,
that's a good point that we got to really watch
okay,
our health. It's just such a new virus. There's no vaccine for it, so it's kind of going to work its way through society around the world. And
yeah,
sooner or later, you start getting immune to it, and we'll find a vaccine, and then we'll get on with life. But right now, it's just kind of scary.
yeah. So we do have some comments, not really, some couple of vague questions if you want to go into it.
Yeah, go
From
ahead.
comments, I'm not sure.
I
You,
may not have all the answers, but
it's mostly some of them are your friends, the usual people that want to come say hello. Um, and before I go into it, actually, no, I'll just go into the questions. Okay, so Derek Hood, he comments, starting Wednesday, we'll have distance learning in IUSD. I think he's just commenting what you already said. And then, yeah, there was superintendent sent out an email. Let's see. Jerry says Placer County and Elk Grove school districts are closed, but they need to switch to online classes. And then ID, Miss Paredes, and I apologize, I thought this was a not a female before, but Miss Paredes says, what do you think of the lockdown? Very vague general question.
the country lockdown. That there's word all day yesterday that President Trump's going to lock down the country. He went on live TV today and said that's not true.
Okay.
But let me I wrote an op-ed today and I posted on my Facebook, Greg Raths for Congress, on social isolation. And what I was trying to say is social isolation serves primarily to flatten a curve. So what I'm trying to say is the greatest public health concern is that too many people will get COVID-19 simultaneously. And if the
Yeah.
requisite percentage of them go to the hospital at the same time, they don't have enough beds
Okay.
or doctors.
I'm going
So
to try to.
by
I just hate
go,
to. I don't want to interrupt you. I'm going to bring it up what you're talking about.
okay, all right,
If you posted 11 hours ago, is that the one?
yeah.
Okay, let me pull it up on the screen so people can
Let's
see
see
what
if
you're
you
talking
pull it
about.
up.
Yeah, it's on your Greg Rath for Congress
It's
Facebook
under
page.
social. It's under
Okay,
what
okay,
would I put it
I,
under? Social isolation.
okay. Yeah, the audience is now looking at your Facebook page.
Yeah.
So
So what I was trying to say is the reason you need to isolate, you need to slow this spread down because the hospitals can't handle it all at once. So if you slow it down, they can handle it, get these people cured and out of the hospital, and this will make it much easier for the professionals in the hospitals and the medical centers to handle it. So what I was trying to say is that uh, just stay away from people, and if we can flatten the curve, we should not be scared by it. It's just a preventative measure, and the estimates are kind of scary. They say up to 40% of Americans could get this over the next year. But if we keep it flat and keep people isolated, the medical field can handle it quite easily. And what I heard today, you may have mentioned it earlier on your broadcast, is that they are restarting human um, testing of a vaccine. And usually you start with animals and everything else, but some lady volunteered to be the first guinea pig per se to
Oh
check
wow.
out this new vaccine that they started today. So yeah, that's my webpage there, and
Okay.
um, I know we're on a little bit of a delay, but I see you have it up. So
Okay.
um, I just trying to put people at ease, especially in our city here and in the county, and
Okay.
I really, really want the news media to calm down too, and be more helpful and less critical of our leaders, because they're doing the best they can. They're not trying to do a bad job. They're trying to do everything possibly to help. I mean, so let's come together as a country. Uh,
Okay.
FDR said nothing to fear but fear itself. So let's calm
Yeah.
down
Okay.
and let's spare a square of toilet paper.
Okay. Scoba, who is a local veteran, is commenting. He's actually watching on Periscope. I have his comment up, and it's a very general leadership question. Um, how do we draw the line between due diligence and overkill? Maybe overreaction, I guess he's talking about.
Well, since it's such an unknown virus and people are still trying to get their hands around it, I think everyone's siding on the side of caution. It may be overkill. You can't get together more than 10 people, 6 feet apart, stay home. It may be a little bit of that, but I think we can handle that right now as a country to slow the spread of this until we get more
Okay.
of a handle on it. So I'm okay with the way things are, but it's going to be devastating to the country as financial. I think the financial
Yeah.
markets are really been shattered here in the last two
Yeah.
weeks, and
My.
air travel is down to nothing. People are afraid to get on airplanes. You're afraid to
Yep.
get near other people. I was at the post office Friday, and they tell me to punch in my PIN. I put my credit card in, and I'm thinking, shoot, should I punch this thing or not? So I did, and I like wiped my finger on my pants real good just in case. So it's got people thinking, which is good. It's a good thing, and we'll get through it. But it's not a definite, Pearl Harbor or 9/11, something like that. This is a slow process. You've seen the movies. There's been movies about viruses and people walking around in these big suits where, you're all, got the big white suits with the mask and everything. So people are a little scared.
Yeah.
And the elderly are concerned, obviously. Once you're 65 or higher, you're concerned because your immune system's not as good as it used to be. The body's wearing out, and a virus gets in there. Sometimes the body can't handle it. I think the youth can handle it pretty easily. It's just another, virus that they go through, or like a flu or a bad cold. But it's the elderly that seems to be, as you're counting down the numbers. I heard you, oh, two more died, and I bet you they're 70 plus people. There's a few in their
Yeah.
60s, but I think there's relatively no children that have died of this,
Yeah.
unless
Okay.
obviously around the world there might be a few, but at least in the United States.
Yeah, a couple comments on what you said, and I wanted to hit on something that's a more positive. Investment, yeah, my thing took about a 50% hit, but I know it'll bounce back, so I will be okay. One good thing is I actually talked to Christina Shea, mayor of Irvine Mayor,
Right. Good
and
friend of mine.
she said, just a few days ago, the whole council came together unanimously, put the partisan bickering aside, and they actually
Good.
worked together. So my question is to you: are you seeing the same kind of unity in the Mission Viejo City Council?
Yes, we have five. I believe you have seven, right?
We have five,
But
exactly.
we're
Also,
all very we're all conservative Republicans, and we all get along pretty well, anyways. But this is just, immediately we rallied around our mayor Brian Goodell, our mayor pro tem Trish Kelly, and whatever they do, we support, and whatever we can offer, they'll listen. But we speak with one voice. We let the mayor do it all. I don't want to
yeah,
circumvent the mayor in any way. He's the leader now, and when I was the mayor last year, they gave me that responsibility and gave me that access to the public. So I think our mayor Brian Goodell is doing an amazing job keeping everybody
okay.
informed.
Speaking of how the leadership structure is, here in Irvine, we elect our mayor directly and our council members directly instead of you guys have a different
Right.
system where our council members hold about the same amount of power, it seems, as our mayor, but a mayor just a little bit more. And I mean, I'm glad they pretty much get along through all this as well. And I may be wrong of what I say. Could you explain the difference between Mission Viejo City Council, how it's structured compared to Irvine, where we direct elect our mayor?
Yeah, we have what they call at-large voting here, and it may change in the future, but I'm not going to bring that up. We have at-large voting where every 2 years, three are up, and every 2 years, two are up. And there's 5 council members, and at the beginning of each year, we vote, the 5 of us, on who we want to be mayor and who we want to be mayor pro tem. So you need 3 votes to be mayor, and usually it's 5-0. And we kind of know the rotating order. I was it last year. We had Mayor Ed Sachs year before. Before that was Mayor Wendy Bucknam. Before that it was I think Mayor Kathy Schlick. And so there's a rotating process, and rarely is there someone who the council doesn't want to be mayor,
Okay.
because I think we should rotate. It's a good way of doing it, and it's worked pretty well. But now Brian's mayor, and he's kind of running the show. We kind of let him put out the we do, not kind of, but we let him do the press
Okay.
releases via the city, things like that.
Yeah, I guess ours is similar. You see them always working together. Some people may not know what you referred to. Can you explain what a mayor pro tem is for the public?
Mayor pro tem is nothing more than the assistant mayor. If the mayor is out of town or indisposed, the mayor pro tem takes over the mayor issues. So that's what it is. Mayor pro tem usually then steps up to be mayor the next year. So they work together as a team during the year. Like this year, it's Mayor Brian Goodell, Mayor pro tem Trish Kelly. They work together as a team. They set the agenda for the meetings. We meet twice a month, the second and fourth Tuesdays at 6 o'clock at our Civic Center. The week before, they put together the agenda. They send it out to all of us on a Thursday before the Tuesday. And then we go into meeting, and then Brian Goodell runs the meeting. For some reason, he's out of town or he's not feeling well, and then the pro tem takes over as mayor for the meeting.
And I think Irvine, they might have changed to vice mayor. Is that basically the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your vice mayor there?
I'm not sure if it's vice mayor, mayor pro tem they label it, but it's Michael Carroll. He's up.
Yeah, Michael Carroll.
Yeah, him and Christine up for re-election this year. And full disclosure, I'm on the Irvine Mayor's Advisory Committee, and I'm a strong supporter of Christina.
Yeah, I heard that, and I heard Melissa Fox. She's running for, I think, state assembly or state senate, but and it's good to have everybody together, though, working on this one issue and putting politics aside. That's the way we're doing here. I'm in a congressional race, but I'm running against Katie Porter. But whatever she does at the federal level, I'll support. As long as it's good for her constituents.
Oh, I agree.
Her constituents.
I actually reached out to her office and I said, hey, I'll set up and I'll technically consult with you guys so you can do a town hall with the public. But I guess they get like a conference call today. And for the hearing impaired, that doesn't really work. Like what we're doing now, we could easily put subtitles on in the replay and people can watch and understand. And being a little hearing impaired myself, I wear my headsets to help. But, I am getting kind of frustrated. I want, my community to not have fear and panic. The other day I was going to get groceries in Raths, and there was still plenty of food left Friday evening or something like that. And I see people getting stressed out and almost getting in traffic accidents and putting public safety because I can see the stress in people. And someone's yelling at me and then they almost hit somebody else in the parking lot. And that's the kind of thing we don't need. And but when people like you show the unity and the strength, it really puts people at ease when, you're so open to talk to people. Dr. Williams, everybody, our city council's coming together as one. We don't have time for people's personal phobias or hangups about whatever it is, method of communication. You should not, and I'm a little ranting a little bit, you shouldn't expect people to have to go search for it. I believe as a leader, you need to push the information to them so they have a better life. I don't know what your thought is on it, but you're incredibly open and strong. So
well, it's kind of hard for me right now because for the last year I was campaigning. I'm out there every day, every night, going to luncheons and breakfasts and talking to people, and now everything's canceled. I'm the president of the Mission Viejo Rotary Club. We had to cancel our meetings in March because we meet at the Mission Viejo Country Club, and they shut down the country club all of March. And the Chamber of Commerce has a breakfast every Tuesday morning called Daybreakers, where all the small businesses meet for breakfast. There's like 60, and that's been shut down. I sit on the Veterans Advisory Council for the Board of Supervisors, and that meeting got canceled. I sit on my HOA here, Oso Valley Greenbelt, and that just got canceled. So it's kind of put my life at a screeching halt.
Yeah.
Not that, maybe not so bad. Maybe I needed it to just kind of look at this virus issue and see how I can best serve my community and make life a little bit easier for them. But I just know the city's working really hard
Yeah.
to, and I know the other cities in Orange County, and I know almost all the mayors and council members. I
I
know Nikki over in Lake Forest is doing a great job, and Scott Voigts, and our supervisors Wagner, Bartlett, and Doe. They're doing everything they can, and obviously our Senator Morlock and Pat Bates and our Assemblyman Bill Bro and the others are just working as a team and putting politics aside to do what's best for the community to get this virus, like I said, stop the curve going up and just flatten the curve.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're going to be okay. I saw you on the campaign trail doing 18-hour days, and I couldn't keep up.
Well, now I'm just on the phone. I can talk to people and I can write letters. I'm catching up on all my thank you letters, and a lot of people gave me well wishes after the primary victory we had a couple weeks ago. So
Okay.
it gives me time to catch up and talk to people, things like that.
Um, I know that we had talked previously. The president had reached out to you and literally said he's going to come help you. I imagine that this virus totally impacts that, and all the fundraisers and events are now
Oh
canceled.
yeah, we've already. Yeah, I had a big victory party planned on Saturday. We had to cancel. We had two fundraisers later in March. We had to cancel. The president, I feel for the president because he has these 20,000, 30,000 people rallies, and that really kind of lifts them up and gets them motivated. And those have to all be canceled. Obviously, he can't be having 30,000 people in an arena. So everything's kind of slowed down. And
I,
another thing, fundraising is going to be slowed down, and people
yeah.
are losing their shirts in the market,
Yep.
and more worried about buying a steak or at least a can of beans and sending
Yeah.
$100 to a candidate, which I understand. And I'm not, it's really
Yeah.
not a good time to call and ask for
Hmm.
money. It's just
I,
this will pass, and then maybe us candidates and we needed this breath of fresh air to relax, and then we
um,
can kind of get the country back in order here with this virus and
I
dedicate our time to getting that under control.
in times of crisis, I think back to my service and the crisis you and I had to deal with, and we see people's true colors come out, and we often joke when someone cracks under the most slightest pressure. I think we're seeing the true colors of the Christina, the Irvine City Council, where they're coming together for the goodness of the people. We're seeing Mission Viejo City Council come together. We're seeing your true colors coming out, how open you are, and you're showing your strong leadership. And we see other people that aren't so strong during a face the crisis. So yes, I think it is hurting campaigns, but at the same time, it's letting the people show who people really are in the face of adversity. You know, we know that young officer that might talk a lot of crap and say, "Hey, I can do anything in combat." When it comes time to it, they stand strong or not. So I really
Yeah, I
think you
think our
are.
military training really helped, and
Yeah,
but even if you served the military or not, people could come together, and
yeah,
I think they're doing that. And I'm very just proud to be an American right now to
yeah.
see the way people are working
Yeah.
together.
Even on the local level, you're seeing moms come together and say, I'll watch it, we'll help each other through this hard time when you can't, because a lot of moms are freaking out because they're working and they don't have any childcare for a 5 or 6 or 7 year old for a second grader. They can't be left at home alone.
Right.
So it's,
That's the problem, when they close the schools and the parents are working, and then the grandmother is the babysitter, but they don't want the kids near the elderly. So how are you handling that? This is going to be a real challenge
yeah,
because the kids may have picked up the virus, and they don't show any symptoms, and unfortunately they may give it to
yeah,
their grandparents unknowingly. So they got to
yeah.
really, really be careful.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, just Irvine alone, there's 36,000 kids out of school abruptly. It's sending shockwaves through everywhere. It's,
Right. And like there was I think Tommy Lahren was coming to do some book signing this week, and that was canceled. The Nixon Library was canceled. We had Crenshaw coming in, Dan Crenshaw, to some fundraisers, and the senator from Arizona, Martha McSally, was coming in, but those are all canceled. So kind of sad, but first things first. Let's get this country healed, and we'll worry about politics later. So.
Well, I mean, if you compare us to Italy, they weren't prepared. They didn't do anything, and now their healthcare system is breaking, and they're making some difficult decisions on people's lives now. But us, we're ahead of the curve. We shut off travel. We took the precautions necessary. I have a very positive outlook on things. I'm not sure how you are.
Yeah, so do I. I think the curve's going to flatten out here, and we'll get a handle on things. I am concerned, though, once testing gets fully ramped up, there's going to be a lot more people that have it than we think.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be as deadly as they think, and as I think the number they're talking about 1 to 3%, but I think it's going to be probably about 1/10 to 0.4%, which is pretty low.
Well, I've heard rumors from my partners over, friends that have business in China. We're looking at the exact numbers right now on the screen, doing a screen share. It'll take about 10 seconds to update to you.
Right.
The total confirmed cases, we're talking a population of 7 billion people, 182,000 confirmed right now, a little over 7,000 dead, and close to 80,000 recovered.
Oh,
so,
my God.
Yeah, and compared to the flu is way deadlier as of now.
Right.
So putting it into perspective.
But see, we have vaccine for the flu, and we don't have vaccine for this. So people are kind of, I see all the numbers now.
Yeah.
People are kind of freaking out because it's new. The body doesn't know how to handle it per se. So, but, I've learned as much as everyone else just by watching TV and on the internet, and trying not to freak out myself. But
I've learned from all this to listen to my wife, who is also a nurse, who 6 weeks ago was telling me, she's looking at me now, she got everything. She got all the masks. She got all we have masks with hand sanitizers everywhere. She had all that prepared and ready to go. And, she's literally a nurse, so we're good. So people were ahead of this and trying to tell people, and, we weren't listening.
I just see Log Cabin Republicans just canceled Second Amendment Day event postponed. So that just came across my wire. There are a bunch of great guys at Log Cabin Republican group.
Yeah.
And what else? Yeah, everything's just coming across canceled. It's crazy. And gas is down to like $20-something a barrel. So maybe we get a little relief at the gas pump, but people aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
But like I said, I self-isolate, but I like to just jump in my pickup truck and drive around the city. Maybe there's, like I said, a yard sign I missed to try to pick up, but I'm just trying to stay away from people because I don't want to get the virus.
Yeah, but luckily with technology, we're just a phone call away. We're able to do live video chat, and to people watching, we were going to do a live video chat today, but Greg's computer's on the fritz. So next time he'll Skype him in, and it'll look like he's right next to me. So your willingness to embrace the technology when, I'm very critical of other politicians that don't, and that upsets me. But when the majority will embrace this technology to talk to people.
So. Well, it just makes sense. If you're an elected official, you're supposed to be, a leader, and you want to get out and talk to the people. And this is a good way of doing it. I think what scares some politicians, if it's live, they're not ready for a question. But if you don't know the answer, you just say, I don't know the answer. And maybe I can find it for you and get back to you. But don't just, hibernate and stay away from the press and any press.
Actually, I had an unnamed politician that we know is excellent. He or she is very excellent on the microphone on stage, but they confided to me, not going to mention the name, that they're terrified of this, and I just can't wrap my head around why. And as far as your comment on honesty, my best question was in 2016. I was running for school board, and I was asked a very hard science question, and I had to be very honest. I don't know. I would talk to the experts, parents, and then figure it out. After that, I had people volunteering for my campaign. Every other politician that was on that stage tried to pretend like they knew what they're talking about. And so you're very right. You just have to be honest and not be afraid of questions.
Yeah, I remember running for Congress. Someone was asking me about the Federal Reserve and was going into very deep detail on interest rates, and I didn't have the answer. I said maybe we could talk after, and you can educate me on the issue, and then I'll dig deeper into it. So if I'm asked this ever again, I'll have an answer. So I think people appreciate that.
Oh, I think they do, and sometimes I think as candidates, we kind of lose objectivity maybe, and I think people are paying attention to city councils coming together and putting their differences aside. They're watching, and
Yeah.
that's better than, and seeing how people act in real time crisis is better than any mailer or advertising piece.
What's the whole thing on toilet paper? I can't figure that one out. Why
I
is that
heard
a
there was some.
staple item that people are hoarding?
I heard it. Someone told. I'm never gonna. I was planning on never bringing that up. But, people were commenting on that, and I didn't. I didn't put it on the screen. From what I heard, there was some conspiracy theory that their government was going to shut down some toilet paper factories or something to do vaccine trials, and it was all total hoax. And then it just became a thing, and then probably people thought it was funny, and who knows? People do strange things sometimes,
Yeah.
and that's all I heard. I have no idea why.
Well, it's been a bunch of jokes about it since, which is good. You need some levity during this time. You got to be able to laugh.
I think so.
You know,
Yeah,
there was I saw a video where a guy was selling it on the streets and acting as if he was selling drugs or something.
yeah.
It's
My
pretty funny.
my
But
wife was
you got to
showing
be able to laugh once in a
my
while.
wife was showing me funny videos of some people in London walking around like everything is fine while all the shelves are bare. Um,
Right. I saw a guy at Starbucks and he's paying for Starbucks with like 3 squares of tissue of toilet paper.
yeah,
So let's laugh a little bit about it. But you'd look at 330 million people, and how many cases right now? You said, yeah, can you pull that up here in
yeah.
the United
I
States?
will.
Like
Hold on.
3,800, I think.
Yeah, give me just a few seconds. Let me.
It's probably a lot more. It's going to get a lot more, but
Okay.
I think everyone's going to.
Okay. I'll read the numbers so you can see it now.
Okay.
So globally, 182,405.
Okay.
Total deaths 7,154. Total recovery
Okay.
79,000 and change. In the United States alone, we're down the list. Number 8, 4,661 cases in a population center of 330 million.
Yeah.
So that's
Not to scare anybody, but I would think it's about 40,000 in the United States,
yeah,
to be honest with you. But a lot of people don't even know they have it.
yeah, yeah. There is some frustration that people want everyone tested now, and I know people that maybe have not worked in the medical emergency field. They understand they have to triage, the testing kits, and I know they're going to be making more. So we'll find out very soon. We'll all go get tested.
Yeah.
There's going to be drive-through stations set up probably next week or so, and
But the whole idea of getting tested and finding out you have it, you isolate yourself.
yep,
It's not
yep,
much you really can do unless you really start getting some respiratory problems where you're having trouble breathing. Then you need to get medical care. But the whole idea of getting tested and you have it, now you know you have it. Now you stay in your room
mm-hmm,
and you stay away from other people. And then that's the whole idea. Because right
yeah,
now, people that may have it don't know it and they're out in the public,
yeah,
touching things and coughing and sneezing. So coughing and sneezing, they say it's like 6 feet it can go a cough.
yeah.
So and
I,
and that's the kind of the big thing right
yeah,
now.
I'm just as you're saying this, I'm really looking at my wife, the expert over there.
Is she nodding or not?
No, she says she's not an expert because she's an actual
Oh,
nurse, so she's very particular about only answering questions she's an absolute expert in. And she was talking earlier about the spray, and it's worth, it'll go 6 feet and it dies versus, I think she said 12 hours on a wet surface, it could possibly live, the virus. Okay, she said don't quote her.
well, you're hearing all these wives' tales.
Yeah.
So I hear if you drink water every 15 minutes, you have it in your mouth, you wash it down your throat, and your stomach bile will or your will kill the virus. So you're hearing all these things. So let's get the testing out of the way and see who's got it, and then they need to self
Yeah.
quarantine themselves for 14 days. I
Yeah.
guess Tom Hanks and his wife, they're out of
Yeah.
quarantine now, so it looks like they're okay. So it's not like the end of the world if you have it, especially if you're 65 or younger.
Yeah. I'm just trying to refresh the numbers now. It didn't change. They changed since Dr. Williams sent me this website today. and there was more reported deaths today. But I'd say that it's less than days of that we sustained, and during combat operations. So
Yeah.
it's also put it in perspective. We're going to be
How often do you do your broadcast, Mark? Do you do it every night, or is it just
now.
once a month?
I'm locked at home now. Um,
You're not 65. You can go out.
yeah, but like I said, I don't want to, if I accidentally, if I got infected and I don't know it, I don't want to put anyone else at risk. So I'm been just hanging out at the house with my family. And I got
Yeah.
half my living room is the studio that with the green screen and the bright lights and all the cameras. So, figured,
What do you got in the background there? That's the Irvine Spectrum, right?
yeah, I can
Yeah.
change it. Watch,
No, that's kind of cool.
I can show you some other cool stuff while we're talking about it. So, let me
Do you got anybody listening to us right now? Can you tell?
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of people. So I got a little American flag background. I can even maybe blur a
Mm.
little bit so it looks a little different. Wait
So how
about
long were you in the Army?
I was in the Army for a little over 20 years. I joined on
Okay.
17 years old, and I retired at 38 just a couple years ago,
Okay.
and settled in Irvine, and then just started hanging out with politicians, and here we are.
Well, I guess I am a politician, but I spent 30 years in the Corps,
Yeah.
Marine Corps, and then followed on as an airline pilot with JetBlue, and then later with ran my own company as president of a company. But I enjoy politics at the city level. It's really been good. I'm in my second term, so I enjoy
Well,
that.
you just won the election of a lifetime. So that
Yeah, there's 6 of us running for U.S. Congress here in the 45th,
yeah,
and
I was with Don Wagner, and I remember that. I'll tell you after. I think it was. So I think I told you this, and I said because Don Wagner had won at 8:05. I was with Don Wagner, and he walked in a few minutes earlier. Like and everyone kind of expected him to win. Like Don Wagner won, golf clap. Everyone's like, okay, cool. And then I said, hey, Greg won, really loudly, and just the eyes got big. And I was like, I told you. And I did a broadcast 3 hours before like 5 o'clock election day, and I predicted exactly the spread that it was going to be.
is that right?
Yep. So it was kind of obvious to me. And when I heard someone's professional opinion the next day of why you won, I was like, yeah, duh, yeah. The
Yeah.
ballot designation, that was kind of obvious. And there's so. It,
Well, right now it's about 50-50. Katie Porter, the Democrats, at 50.7, and the 6 of us Republicans that ran's at 49.3. So it's going to be a really, really tight race.
Yeah.
It was last time. Mimi Walters lost by like 10,000
well,
votes.
there
So
are
it'll be a
some
tight
X
race.
factors. One, there's students are going to be graduating, so a lot of them are going to be gone come November. Also, people are seeing right now your willingness to be open. I really want her to talk to the public, and she has some phobia of it. And I hate to be so talk about personal things, but
Well, once
okay,
you're a sitting congressperson, you kind of get away from the public, and it
okay.
shouldn't be that way. But
Okay.
we'll have a good debate for the next 8 months and go
I
from
have
there.
I've actually reached out and I offered to narrate one, and I sent a message, hey, me and one of your people can do it together, and make
Well,
sure
I
it's
like
fair.
a Lincoln Douglas debate where we just go at it one on one. That's what I like to do with her, and I'd like to challenge her on your radio station tonight to a
Oh,
Lincoln
it doesn't.
Douglas debate.
Well, I mean, I have the technical equipment. If it's because I know sometimes candidates they split the cost of the equipment, so it won't cost us much.
Yeah, it'll be
And
free.
I'd love to give the people unfettered access to this leadership, and let's see what people are really made of. Let's hit people with the hard questions, and in a nice setting where we can talk about it. I don't expect
Any
any.
kind donation.
Yeah, I don't expect anyone to life and death decisions. You're not going to solve the world's problems in 30 seconds or less. Let's.
Actually, I like to sit down with her. I don't would never attack her personally. I think she worked hard and she won the seat. She beat an incumbent sitting congresswoman who's in her second term, or yeah, second term. She finished two
Yep.
terms, and she worked hard and she won. And she's a single mom who's raising 3 kids
Yep.
and doing a hell of a good job. So
Yeah.
I think she's great. There's policy issues that I strongly disagree with, and
Yeah.
that's what we talk about. So
Yeah, I had
uh,
given a lot of thought of how to put a debate together between you two. What would be fair to both candidates? Do we agree with questions ahead of time? I like that idea. So there's no surprises. Both candidates know what questions are coming. Let's discuss this policy
Yeah,
as
I'd like to just challenge her to a Lincoln Douglas debate where we just both of us in a maybe a big easy chair up on stage, and we just go back and forth, the two of us.
well, since we're in this new world right now with this coronavirus, it might be kind of like how Bernie and Biden did it just a couple days ago. Just an empty room with some cameras, and
The burn.
yeah, just
God, these millennials got to be careful because they
so
think they're going to get all
so we can do on the
their
stage. Have you and Katie there. I'll stay 20 feet away. Have the cameras and maybe one another assistant with masks on, so everyone is quarantined still. And
yeah, we'll wait till midsummer till this thing dies down. We got to get through this coronavirus before we even
yeah,
consider sitting down with each other.
well,
This is
yeah.
number one priority right now. So
Yeah, we hope for the best, expect the worst. Trump said on I believe something was it today or yeah, I think it was today that worst case this might go to July or August.
yeah.
This kind of situation. So in that,
Well, I think they're saying as the weather warm up, maybe your wife knows, as the weather warms up, the flu season kind of dies down, and maybe since we don't know much about this virus itself, that it'll die down itself. We'll see, but
she's not listening.
let's
She's
be
yeah,
okay. Well, let's be optimistic and be positive, and I think that really helps. And us as community leaders need to be positive and optimistic, and work with our constituents and let them know that we're doing everything possible to mitigate the problem of this virus, and that's what I'm going to do. And if I can sneak out of my house, I will maybe get a megaphone and talk from my car or my truck.
awesome. Let's see.
My sign's out of my pickup truck, by the way. I got
So
to check my sign out. Keep my neighbors happy. So
yeah, I'll try not
I'll
to go
put it
too.
back up in September, October. So.
So well, thank you for. We've gone about 46
Yeah,
minutes.
that's fine.
We got some good questions. So I do appreciate. We have a lot of people that were commenting. I could throw them up there, but they're all your supporters. Like vote right, vote Raths. From Natasha, we got that comment.
They loved your videos, Mark. You did a
Then,
good job. It
then
made me into
vote.
a viable candidate, and we really, really had a
Then,
good night. But let's get through this virus issue
yeah,
right now.
they had one vote Kate Porter, and I really didn't want to make it too political, but I really want the electeds to talk to people, and if I volunteer my time to enable that, I think it's a good thing. So
Yeah, I just see this on my email. I sit in a where is it? Okay, well, I can't pull it up. I'm in a group. Where is it? Okay, keep talking. I can't find
okay,
it. Oh, I'm in a Toastmasters group, OC Toastmasters, Orange County Toastmasters, and they just canceled for the month. So it
yeah,
looks like my Toastmasters group is
okay.
canceled. I'm gonna miss the Elks Club. I'm in our Mission Vale Elks Club. I'm sure that's probably shutting down, and our VFW and American Legion's probably shutting down. I'm gonna miss those guys. I'm gonna miss all these people. I'm really active in my community.
Me
I
too.
love going to our
Yeah.
library and then hanging out with the other mayors and council members in the district or in the county. I think I'm very highly of Don Wagner and of Lisa Bartlett and all the and Michelle Steele, and I kind of want to get together with the other candidates running for Congress, Michelle Steele and Young Kim and Brian Marriott, and just kind of have a little get together. But we'll get to the virus, and probably, hopefully, by early summer we can get back on the campaign trail. But right now, let's get
Yeah.
through this.
Yeah, I hope so. You had told me we're not doing, no I'm not going to do any videos, Mark, about 4 months. We're going to focus on the things. I said, okay. And
Yeah.
I totally had packed everything up, and I was preparing for Mike Posey's interview on Wednesday, and then this whole thing happened, and so here we are.
Yeah, Posey's running for supervisor, correct?
I believe so.
For Michelle Steele's seat.
Yeah, Michelle Steele's running for Congress, and
Right. So she's.
her numbers look pretty good too. If you saw those.
Yeah, I think Ruta is 47%, 46%. Michelle Steele and the other Republicans were 53. So she has a good shot. I think Young Kim has a good shot. Our seat looks really good. It's going to be tight, 50-50. It's going to be plus or minus 1%. We do have a 3% advantage of Republican voters that are registered, but hopefully we get them all out in November. But Brian Marriott in the 49th down south. He's going to have a tough. It's like
Yeah.
56-44.
Yeah.
So he's going to have a
Yeah.
tough time, but he can
I,
pull it out. So it'll be fun.
I pulled up the
And we can't take this too serious, but right now our health is number one, and that's what counts.
yeah, I pulled up the numbers for Michelle Steele. You're right. Harley Ruda got 46.72% of the vote so far, and
Wow.
and
Yeah. If you go to our numbers, Katie's at 50.7 and we're at 49.3. But they had one thing you got to remember: the Democrats had a presidential primary where we just had Trump. So probably some of the Republicans didn't vote since there's Trump. But I see them all coming out in November. So Luke Correa looks pretty. He's 58% into 46. He'll be tough to beat by James Waters.
yeah, I think
John Briscoe's going against Lowenthal. He's going to have a tough time. But Ruda, you're right. He's almost 47. So Brian Marriott should do all right. So
then
it'll
you,
be fun to watch. But I think the Central Committee took in Republican Central
Yeah.
Committee took in about 18 new members. So
Yeah,
there's going to be some reshuffling at the Central Committee.
and then Young Kim, she already got over 50% of the vote in the primary.
Yeah, but you got to also add in LA County. I think she has some of LA
Oh,
County.
okay. Oh, okay.
So I think you're just looking at Orange County. So.
Okay. Yeah, I was just looking at the Orange County vote.
Okay, I'll let you go, Mark, and let your people watch it. And I do thank them all. And like I said, let's come together. Not as just as a country, but as a county and as cities, and get through this. We're getting some good rain right now. I can hear it outside, so it's good for Orange County. And God bless you all, and God bless everybody.
Can we follow up with you in a couple days, 2 or 3 days?
Sure.
Okay.
Love to talk to you guys. I'm always available and stuck in my house right now.
Yeah, me too. I'm in my home studio. Okay. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate your time and willingness to talk to people today.
All right, Mark. Absolutely. Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye-bye.